Hey y'all, I'm Abby, More Than Just Skin. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm thrilled you took some time out of your day to spend a little bit of time here with me. You may be asking yourself, what is this huge mess in front of me? And y'all, this is a declutter. Now, I am filming this towards the end of January, and I will say that I feel like in the month of January that I have really been focused on decluttering some things that I'm not using, thinking about the things I really do love and the things I'm using, and kind of just paring down my collection and making it more user-friendly, so to speak. So I have all different categories. This all out in front of you is face stuff. I have face stuff. I have lip stuff. I actually have nail polish. I have skincare. And I have eyeshadow palettes. So we are going to start with face items. I'm going to organize this mess to have a little bit of maybe, so it's not quite so crazy. And we are just going to talk about everything that I am decluttering out of my collection. So if you're interested in a declutter and seeing what I'm getting rid of, hit that subscribe button and here we go. Okay, I have one concealer and it is this Milani concealer, and I don't even have any sort of tag on it to even know what it is or know what color it is, but it's their concealer in the pot. It looks like this. I got this hoping that it would be something I could put on my redness. I just found that it was not very creamy and it was just something I was not reaching for. So that is going to be something that I am going to be getting rid of. Next up is going to be foundations. The first one is going to be the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I have it in the shade 128 and I think this is called Warm Nude Beige. I really enjoyed this and I wore it a good bit. It's just something I'm no longer reaching for, and I think the main reason is the packaging. The packaging is not very, it's just one of those pour outs. There's no pump, and even for the drugstore nowadays, the drugstore can do better. So I am getting rid of that. Next is another drugstore foundation. This is the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I love this foundation. I have it in the shade 740, which is a little too pink for me. Plus the pump doesn't work for me on this one. So I've actually purchased this in the color that I think is more conducive for my skin tone, and the pump actually works, I think I've only used it a couple of times. So this pump crapped out. You have to unscrew it. I mean, you could still use the foundation, but the color just was not good for me. Another one I'm getting rid of is the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous in the shade 210. I just found myself not reaching for this, and that is what I'm kind of focusing on in this declutter. A foundation that for some reason I have two sample sizes. I think I must have gotten them from Sephora. This is the Lancome Tint and Doll Ultra Wear. Let's see what color. I have it in 420 and 310. I just don't like this foundation. I know that it is kind of has a cult following. It doesn't work for me. I have never liked it when I've worn it. I have tried it a few times and I just don't like it. So I am getting rid of both of those. The last foundation I have is a stick foundation, and this is the Makeup Revolution foundation. I have it in two shades, F8 and F10. Now, I wanted to love this. I really did, and I wore it a good bit during the month of January. At first, I really loved it. I learned to apply it with a brush. It was working great, and then all of a sudden, it started causing irritation to my skin. I figured out that I was having itching around, kind of around my mouth area, which at first I was like, there's no way it's the foundation because it's just happening in this area. But when I started doing a process of elimination to figure out what it was, I figured out it was this, and so I'm getting rid of both of these. I hate it because I actually did like the way this foundation wore, but there's something in it that my skin just does not agree with. We're going to do this in the order in which I apply things. I have one powder, and this is the Flower Beauty soft finishing powder. It is a translucent powder. I purchased it because it has a little bit of a sheen to it, and I thought that it would be kind of a nice dupe for the Lancome powder that is similar to this. But y'all, this packaging, it's difficult to open, as you can see. The packaging is huge, and I just found that it was not really something that I reached for. I didn't love the powder. It felt very dry, which I know it's powder, it's supposed to feel dry, but I just didn't feel like it looked great on my skin. And you can see I'm even having a hard time putting it back together. So it was definitely not something that I loved. It was something that was just sitting in my drawer, and it was time to get rid of it. Moving to bronzer, I have two of the Milani baked bronzers. I've heard people say these are dupes for the Hourglass. I completely disagree. I just never really could make these work. I have them in two colors, 09 Dolce, which even though it's called 09, it's really a lighter shade. I think that's the lighter one. Yeah, it's a lighter kind of more gold shade. Of course, bronzers are not real good to swatch, but I just didn't find myself reaching for it. I also got it in the more red shade because in the summertime, I like a shade of bronzer kind of like this. Again, it was something I wasn't reaching for, so I am decluttering both of these. Sticking with bronzer, I got the Wet n Wild, I believe this is limited edition Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in the shade Bronze Dynasty. I just found this looked very muddy on my skin. I couldn't make it work. I know I've heard some people love it. Did not work for me. I have a deluxe sample size of Bronze 03 from Laura Mercier. I have used this some, but I think I have Bronze 02 in the full size, and it's just the right color for me, so I'm getting rid of the little deluxe sample size. Let's move on now to face palettes. I have this e.l.f. one. This is their blush and bronze duo. It looks like this. That blush is non-existent on my face. Maybe for someone who is more fair than me, it would work. Does not work for me. And the bronzer I just found was lacking, so I'm getting rid of that. Sticking with e.l.f., I have a bronzer palette. Again, some people love this. I have found that it just looks incredibly muddy on my skin. I don't like the look of it. I think that it would probably be good for some people, but it just didn't work for me, so I'm getting rid of that one. I also have the Contour Palette by e.l.f. Yet again, another item that these two bronzers just really did not. This one is just too dark for me in general, and I just found myself not really reaching for those. So yeah, I'm getting rid of that one. I have a contour palette by Ish, a contour kit in the shade Light Medium. This has a highlighter, a blush, and two of a bronzer slash contour. This was fine. It's just something I wasn't reaching for because I have other contour kits that if I'm going to reach for a contour kit, I have other ones I like better. And there's no need for me to hang on to something that I'm not going to use. An item that I really wanted to love because it's very inexpensive and it gets a lot of hype is the contour palette by Wet n Wild. This just did not do anything for me, this bronzer. And I think I liked the setting powder, but there was not really a good enough reason to keep the whole thing for the setting powder. So I'm decluttering that. These next two are items that I'm probably going to get. I'm probably in the minority about because I know some people love these. This first one, I hate to say it, but in my declutter bag, it broke. But this one is actually called the Lift and Sculpt Contouring Palette. I'm not going to open it, but it is a bronzer, highlight, and blush. The bronzer that crumbled, I just did not like at all. This blush, the color of this blush is not a color that, if I'm going to wear a really pink blush, there are other ones I like much better than this. I just did not think this was a pretty blush on me. And I don't love Flower Beauty's highlight at all. I find it a little too blinding. And I like a good blinding highlight, but this looked like highlighter on me. It did not sink into the skin. It looked like it was something sitting on top of the skin. So I'm getting rid of that. I'm also getting rid of the Flower Beauty. I think this is the Shimmer and Strobe palette. Again, this is probably something I'm in the minority about, and I went back and forth about if I should get rid of it. A lot of people love this. I just think it sits on my skin and does not look natural. So I am getting rid of that. And lastly, this is probably another one that is going to be a shock, but I just found that it was something I was not reaching for, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in the shade That Glow. I'm not sure this is one you can even get anymore, but I just found myself not reaching for it. This color, of course, is just not something I'm ever going to reach for unless I put it on my eyes. And if I want a bronze eye look, I have bronze eyeshadow I like for that. The other ones, I mean, these two down here were nice. This is something I'm really not going to reach for either because it's too yellow. So I basically would be keeping it for these two, and I just have other highlighters out there that I like more than this, so I'm getting rid of that. Moving on to blush, and I have a few, let's see, a few wet, or maybe just two, Wet n Wild blushes. This first one is called the Princess Daiquiris. It is the ombre blush. Y'all, that just doesn't show up on my skin. I mean, you can even see by swatching it, it's not that pigmented. That just looks like nothing on my skin. Kind of similar to this. This is Rose Champagne, which is something that I know is very popular, but swatching it right there, it just does not show up. It is literally almost the same color as my skin when I put my makeup on. So I'm getting rid of both of those. I'm getting rid of this LA Girl Just Blushing in the shade Just Natural. This is a fine blush, but it is not something that is not really a color that I wear and reach for. I didn't find that I was wearing it much, and I just was like, there's no need to keep something in my collection that I'm not wearing. I have two sample sizes of the Makeup Forever blushes. I wore these somewhat, but they're just, when you have a collection the size of mine, they were getting lost in the collection, and there's just no need to keep it. I had this kind of rosy pink color, and then a color that I compare similar to NARS Orgasm. I just figured these were things that somebody else could possibly get some use out of. I also have this LA Colors Mineral Blush in the shade Blushing. It looks like this. It, again, is a color that just, I find, does not flatter me. And there was just no need to keep it if I wasn't going to wear it. Shockingly, I recently added to my collection Benefit Dallas. I had heard great things about it. Y'all, this just strictly looks muddy on my skin. It is not a color that looks good on me. It looks, and I know everybody says swatching it does no good because it really looks better on. It doesn't on me. It looks like dirt on me. So there's just no sense in me trying to like something just because it's popular when it doesn't work for me. I'm also getting rid of Romantic Rose by Milani, a great neutral blush. If you were looking for a good neutral blush at the drugstore, go check this out. But again, it is a color that just does not really flatter my skin tone. And I have other ones kind of similar. So if I'm wanting a neutral blush, this was not something I was reaching for, so it needs to go. And lastly, this is the Butter Blusher in the shade Plum Rose. This just straight up, y'all, did not show up on me at all. I mean, it just absolutely nothing. I just, even when I'm swatching it, I can barely see anything. No sense in keeping it. Hopefully it will work for somebody else. Moving on to highlights. I have a deluxe sample size of Highlighter 01 by Laura Mercier. This is a great, great, great highlighter. I have the full size. There's just no need for me to keep this size too, because I have other highlighters I would try. I can't just say, oh, I'll keep it for travel. I have told myself I'm no longer doing that. I don't travel enough for that. And every time I have traveled, I've never taken this. So while I love the highlight, there's no need to keep two. I have a few of these Wet n Wild, and I think they are the limited edition highlighting bar. I think that this one is Fire. I think that's Fire there. It is a beautiful highlight. I just found that when I don't need it. I was going through, that's it, swatch right there. I was going through all the ones that I have, and this is the one I was reaching for the least, so I decided to declutter it. Let's move on to e.l.f. This is e.l.f. in Pink Diamonds. I received this free with an e.l.f. order, and y'all, it's just a very pink highlight, and it's just not something that I am going to be reaching for, and I have not reached for, so that one is going. Also Wet n Wild. This is the Mega Glow Highlighting Rose Gold Bar in the shade Baby It's Rose Gold Out or Rose Cold Outside. Excuse me. It is just a little too dark for me. This is not a good, I mean, you can see how dark it is right there. It's just not something that I am reaching for. Also, I'm getting rid of Crown of My Canopy. Also by Wet n Wild. Again, it's just too dark for me. These colors are just not highlighters that I need to be wearing. And then lastly, I'm getting rid of a Becca one. This is Champagne Dream Flashes Bellini. And it's just kind of a weird shade. And it was something I was not really reaching for. It kind of is a little bit of an iridescent tone. It's a gold, and if I'm going to reach for a gold highlight, I'm usually reaching for the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. So that one is going to be Declutter. Okay, we're going to move into palettes. And the first one is a large palette I'm getting rid of. This is the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible Deluxe Edition palette. Y'all, I have loved this palette and I have worn it a ton. And as I even open it up, I'm like, do I want to get rid of that? But the answer is yes, because I never reach for it. It has been months since I have even thought about reaching for this. It does have some beautiful colors up here for spring and summer, and I'm kind of fearful that if I get rid of it, I'm going to regret it. But I do think I have these colors in other places, so I am pulling the trigger and getting rid of that. Another BH Cosmetics one I'm getting rid of. This is the Nouveau Neutrals palette. It is a shadow. Let me open it. It is a shadow and blush palette. I just never have really reached for this much at all. I have those colors elsewhere, and there's just no need to hang on to something I'm not going to wear. I received this next one. This is, I think, Deuce. It's called Deuce. It is a palette that my assistant gave me. She got it, I think, in a FabFitFun box. I think I've tried to wear it once. Didn't love it. It's going to go. Next up is Bad Habit Retro Love. This was a dupe for Subculture. I just found these shadows, even though I like Bad Habit, I found these shadows to be really lacking. And it took a lot of work to make an eyeshadow look work. And that's just not what I'm into these days. So I'm passing that along. This is also from Hush Beauty, Beauty Creations Totally Nude. I think this was supposed to be a dupe for a Too Faced palette. It was a failure. Could not get a good pigment out of it. Not going to be hanging on to that. This is a little Estee Lauder palette that I got free. You can see it's just something I'm not really going to use. That's going to go. Moving on to an Oakland Naturals eyeshadow palette. This too, I actually liked this, but I have the Stila palette that I think this is a dupe for. I ended up finding it. It was one of my all-time favorite palettes. I found it on Poshmark, so there's no need to keep that one too. Another palette I really, really loved and used for a long time is the Barely There Model's Own palette. It's a great neutrals palette, but it has been replaced by the Tarte Aspen Ovart palette. So I found myself not reaching for this one, so I'm getting rid of this one. I'm also getting rid of the Lorac Pro. I think this is the 3. Yeah, it's the one that's just very neutral. The only reason I was really keeping it is for this amethyst shade, and then I just decided, yeah, that's stupid to do that. So I'm getting rid of that. I did wear that a lot last year, though, I will say that. I'm getting rid of the Naked 3 palette. I feel like all these shades just kind of run together and they don't look great, and this is kind of my least favorite palette out of the collection, so I am decluttering that one. I have a few Wet n Wild palettes. I have one of the quads. This one I believe is Walking on Eggshells, which I bought to travel with, and y'all, this hardly showed up on my eyes. Yeah, these colors are just a little, I need another shade that's darker to make this work, and I bought it hoping that I could get a full look out of this, and I couldn't, so it's going. Rosé in the Air. Great, great, great palette. Love this palette. It's a dupe for Modern Renaissance. I have Modern Renaissance. I don't need both, so I'm going to keep one. I'm keeping the Modern Renaissance. And this is one of their newer ones. This one is the shade VI supposed to be like VIP purple, but it's VI purple. And it looks like this. Again, it's a nice palette, but it was just not something I was reaching for. So again, time to get it out of my collection. I was sent this Maybelline mini palette. I like some of these. This one I was sent by Influencer, and I mean, come on. I'm not going to wear those colors, at least not by themselves. And I have other blues and other palettes, so it's crazy for me to keep that. This is the Total Temptation palette. Nice palette. I've worn it a couple of times, but it's just not something I'm reaching for. I have a couple of eyeliners. The first one is this one by Lancome. It's the Liqua Pencil. It's in a brown shade. I just found this to be lacking. Didn't love it. I usually love the Monster Ardency In eyeliners. I wanted a color like this last summer, so I figured, great brand, I'm buying this one. This eyeliner is terrible. It really should probably just go in the trash. And then the Ico Skinny Liquid Eyeliner. If I'm going to wear a liquid eyeliner, it's not going to be this one. I'm going to wear Kat Von D Trooper. I also have a mascara. This is Miss Manger Rock. I purchased this at the recommendation of, I can't even think of her name, a YouTuber, and I hated it. So yeah, I don't need to, I'm not passing mascara on because that's just gross, but I just wanted to say I hated that mascara. And then I have a color tattoo by, I think this is Bad to the Bronze. Is this Bad to the Bronze? Let's see. Yes, Bad to the Bronze by Maybelline. It dried out, so something that just needs to go. But these really are good, but they dry out quicker than higher end ones. Moving on to lipstick, and this is my lipstick that I am decluttering. I think I'm going to swatch them, maybe not all of them, but some of them. So yeah, let's just start, and here we go. I have a Color Re-Shine. I love these, and I have actually kept a ton of them. This is 902 Dazzling Dough, and it is a color that just does not flatter me at all, so I am getting rid of that one. I have some Pat McGrath. I bought the Pat McGrath little kit. Y'all, I hate these lipsticks. I know I'm probably in the minority there too. I think they wear terrible. They are, this is Flesh 3. Looks like that. I even think they swatch bad. I just don't know why people love these. This is $19.95. This was that little $25 kit. And then this one is Omi. Looks like that. Again, they're all very similar, I think, in the same kind of range, but I just think they wear horribly. So I'm getting rid of all of those. Next, I have Flower Beauty, and I think I have a couple of these. Yes, I do. I have 2 of these. I just found myself not reaching for them. The first one, these are these mix and matte lip duos. This is in Melon Kiss. I just found myself not reaching for them. There's really nothing wrong with them. I just don't wear them. And then this next one is Honey Nude. Looks like that. So decluttering both of those. Y'all, I'm not going to swatch all the liquid lipsticks. I just hate liquid lipsticks. Even this one, this red one, this was the only one I consider keeping, but I did not reach for this at all during Christmas. And y'all, I wore a red lip the entire month of December, and I've worn a red lip a good bit of January, and I never reached for this one. I have found others that work better. The colors are just as good. So I'm getting rid of Outlaw and Lolita. Just liquid lips are not for me, and there's no need to keep them. Another one, the Jeffree Star one that I kept because I loved this color. I have found other colors that replace it, and so there's no need to keep that either. The only formula that I really like is the Jouer liquid lipstick. I'm getting rid of, however, these 3, and I think I might have only 1 left. I'm getting rid of Leche, Dulce de Leche, and Noisette. Yeah, just not loving liquid lipsticks. This is the Soft Lip Cream in Instable by NYX. These soft lip creams are actually more comfortable to wear than liquid lipsticks, but I don't find myself reaching for this color. This is a Buxom, and it is called Wildly Whipped Lightweight Liquid Lipstick, and mine is in the color Instigator. I just don't reach for it. Similar to this 407 Vinyl Lip Cream by YSL. Don't like that either. This is a Vivid Hot Lacquer by, I believe, Maybelline. I really don't know what I was thinking when I bought that. Don't love it. Don't even like the color. I received this from Influencer. This was a Bite Beauty in the shade Glacé. Too matte for me. Not going to be wearing that. And I think I have another one. I do. I have it in the shade Gava. Same formula, same issue. Not going to be wearing it. Two of these matte lipsticks from NARS. Totally different colors. This one is a deep color. And what is this shade? Y'all, this is such little writing. Volga. Looks like that. Again, I love a good dark lip, but this is just too dry for me. And then I have Bangkok by NARS as well. Total different spectrum. Lighter, much lighter, but again, colors that are too dry, I'm not going to reach for it. I have a Surratt Beauty lipstick. This is in Seductress. It is a very vampy color, similar to that NARS one, but again, I have other bold lips that I like better, so I was not reaching for that. I have a couple of small lipsticks, mini sizes, and let's talk about those. Oh, one more liquid lipstick. This one is NYX Liquid Suede. Getting rid of that. Okay, I think these are all the mini lipsticks that I'm getting rid of. I have found I like mini lipsticks, but they don't hold up very well. I have found that they kind of crush and yeah, whatever. This one is Sin by MAC. This is another one that is just too matte, and so I am getting rid of that one. I picked up the Bite Beauty set as well, and these two I am getting rid of. Nori. I don't love the way these wear. I just don't. I've tried to wear them, and then this is Tannin, and Tannin was actually in, I think Tannin was in my bold lipstick video, and the more I wore this, the more I did not like the way this wore. So I'm getting rid of both of those. This is Bobbi Brown lip color in Brownie. This is a great shade, great formula. I just really don't reach for it. And it's just something that if I'm gonna wear that color, I have other ones I'm gonna wear, and somebody else should get some use out of that. This one is by Kat Von D, and it is in Lovecraft. Again, it is a great color, great formula, but if I'm gonna wear that color, I have others I'm gonna wear. No need to keep it. This is Marc Jacobs Cream and Sugar. It has seen better days. This caused me to purchase it in the full size, so there's no need to keep the little size. Plus you can see it's kind of falling apart. Then I have a red by Marc Jacobs. This is in the shade So Rouge. This was a freebie from Sephora. Great red, have tons of red, just no need to keep it. And there's also this red by Burberry called Military Red. Again, another really nice red shade, but I have so many reds, y'all, in full sizes, and there's just no need to keep all that. Small size, this little Icon, I think it's like lip lacquer by Hourglass. Y'all, if I'm gonna wear a red lip, I don't wear a glossy red lip. So this is just something I'm not reaching for. Let's stick with higher end, shall we? Oh, one more mini. A mini from, I believe this is Laura Mercier in the shade Devotion. Looks like that. It's a pretty shade, but I just don't wear it, don't reach for it. Oh, so I'm decluttering it. Staying with higher end, I have this called Knock on Wood number 11. This is a very interesting shade by Tory Burch. It looks really dark, but it comes off sheer. I just don't wear it. I also have the VIB Rouge Red. I wore this a ton, as you can see. I just don't reach for it. I don't like Bite lipsticks. I know I'm in the minority there too because everybody loves them. I don't, so I'm getting rid of them. I also have a Sephora Lip Stories. I love these lipsticks, but this color is just terrible. It's number 7. I mean, look at that color. It just does nothing for me. Makes me look dead. Getting rid of that. And then I also do not like Anastasia matte lipsticks. I have it in the shade Hollywood and Soft Touch. Both too matte for me. Don't like the way they wear. Getting rid of both of those. This is another high-end one. This is from the Estee Edit. I think I received this from Influencer. You can't get that anymore, and I just don't find myself reaching for it. This is I have 2 Wet n Wild lipsticks. The first one is Mochalicious. The second one is Cherry Bomb. I love Wet n Wild lipsticks, but these are too matte. This formula is just, I still have a couple of them that I'm trying, but I just found myself not reaching for these, and I have these colors in different formulas that I like better, so I'm getting rid of those. Another deep vampy lip. I think this is called Burgundy. What is this called? Burgundy Suede, maybe? Burgundy. It's a magnet. It's just called Burgundy. It's by Nude Sticks. Hate the way this wears as well. Too matte for me. This is a double-ended by e.l.f. I got this for free. I just don't reach for it. No need to keep it. I have 3 lip glosses. I have this one by e.l.f. that I think I received free, and it's neutral color. I have a lot of neutral lip glosses. Don't love this. And I have 2 color icons by Wet n Wild. This is kind of... This one is Capricorn, and this one is Gemini, and these are just 2 that I don't find myself reaching for. And then the last 2 are, one is a Rimmel Kate. I love this color. This is the shade 42, but for some reason I had 2. No reason to keep both, so I'm getting rid of one. And then I have, lastly, Pixie by Petra. This is a Shea Butter Lip Balm. I just didn't like this at all, so I'm getting rid of that. Oh, sorry, one more thing. I have an Ish Lip Statement Palette. Y'all, never been touched. Not going to be using a lip palette. Okay, y'all, the last category is skincare, and I don't have much of that, but I do have some. So let's start with mask. I'm getting rid of the Radiance Face Mask by Good Things. This is the Manuka Honey one. I liked this. I don't love it, so I'm getting rid of it. I also have the Peter Thomas Roth Radiant Oxygen Mask. This is just weird. Never have really gotten into using that. I am getting rid of the Kate Somerville Exfoliate. This is an intensive exfoliating treatment. Honestly, you know, let me see. I may keep that. The reason why, no, it's never been opened. I'm going to pass that on to somebody. I have other ways that I like to exfoliate, so I'm not going to keep that. I also have an exfoliate cleanser by Kate Somerville. I'm getting rid of that one as well. I am getting rid of this H2O hand cream. It's just like an anti-aging hand cream that I never find myself reaching for. I'm getting rid of the Leilani Balancing Toner. I have never really loved that, so that has got to go. I have found a spot treatment I like better than this Kate Somerville one, so I'm getting rid of that. And then lastly, I'm getting rid of these Beauty Drops by Skin Owl. This is the, what is it, mangosteen oil, and I just don't love it, so I'm getting rid of that. So yeah, y'all, I'm pretty impressed with the amount of products I've gotten rid of. I don't have a count or anything, but I feel like this is a good way to kind of start off the year, getting rid of things I don't use, thinking about what I really do use, and thinking about what I need, which I have realized I need nothing. I need to be using what I have. So if you enjoyed this type of video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. I would love to have you back here on a regular basis. And as always, I hope this video finds you having a fantastic day and a great week, and I will see you all soon. Bye, y'all.